Hello, this is my Warden Healer. Wanted to go over a build with you for the Scalebreaker patch. It will be slightly different next patch, but I'll update that when that comes. Okay, so first on here, my character screen. Usually have a little bit more max magicka. So health is a little bit higher. It's the higher end of normal than you'd really want. I just haven't changed it from when I was using recovery food. So the spell critical is a little bit low just because of the sets. She is a high elf. The spell damage I like to have a bit higher for bigger heals. So you can take some of these points out of health, maybe to do like 10 or something like that. Put them into the max mag if you're going to be running the by stat food. I have the Atro Mundus on right now, but you can change that to Thief or the Ritual or the Apprentice, whatever it is you want to do. I just have that on because I have spell damage on my jewelry, so there's different ways to do it. So right now, I'm using the VMA Resto staff. Because I do use regeneration a lot on her. It's not really necessary. It's just something fun to use. I don't have my other two-handed resto, the one-piece restos on here, but you can also use the Asylum's a good one. Masters, you can use that sometimes. Black Rose is another nice one. So I just usually like to have my setup when I'm running Olorimes to just have it on the back bar. My Perfected Olo is on my other healer right now. So I have a Weakening enchant on one of the staffs, and I like to have a Crusher on the other one. I would suggest running Infused instead of Decisive. This is just kind of my backup gear. Generally with the sets, you'll want to have Bogdan, Sentinel, and Troll King available for the monster sets. A good one to pair with Olorime is Jorvold's, especially on a Warden, because it increases the duration of your buffs. You can never go wrong with that. Other sets that you can use are Infallible Aether, Mending if you need to. I just have that for Front Kiting Vast if I want to. Twilight Remedy is a good one to have. Sanctuary I really don't use, but it's nice to have it available. Worm Cult, Torx Pact. There's a lot of different sets you can use, like Hollow Fang, Martial Knowledge. Just depends on what your group composition is. So sets are more standard across all healers. I like to go mostly Divines. You can do some infused pieces if you want. And on the jewelry, I usually keep that Arcane just for more max mag and spell damage on the jewelry. If you feel you need more recovery, you can always do magic or recovery. Don't really use that set, just happen to have it. Don't really use spell power cure either. I mean, you could use it in format if you would like. You can put Ebon on your healer sometimes if the tank's not wearing it. Just to go over skills, this is my normal bar setup. Combat Prayer you never really want to take off unless you're out of range of the DPS, like Vast, group kiting. Ward Ally I like to keep on as my shield option just because it shields somebody else when I use it. You can also throw on Harness Magicka if you feel you need it. I haven't used it in a long time. Or you can use Bone Surge here, which costs stam, so just keep that in mind. I like to keep Altar on. Overflowing is generally a better option, but if you're just using it for every day-to-day to keep up your minor toughness on the group, you just ask everyone else to take off their blood altars and put yours on. You can use the Sanguine one just because it's another option, but I usually just keep this one on, the bigger heal. I like the Radiating Regen on, just kind of tops off people. It's easy to keep up since you don't have that many things to spam anymore. Illustrious Healing for sure. You don't really need Healing Springs. Just don't need as much regen this patch. I like to keep on the Northern Storm. It's nice for the major protection for people, but I really use it because when slotting it, my max mag is increased by 8%. My back bar, I like to keep on the Blue Betty. It does give you major sorcery, so because of that, you don't have to use spell power pots. You can use spell crit pots, and I'll show those to you. Ellie Drain, you want to keep that on. Some people take it off if the other healer's using it. I just kind of like to keep it on for better uptime on more ads and things. Blockade of Storms, you'll want to keep that one. It lasts longer. So this is why I use this morph, because you're using it to keep up your enchants and for the off balance. Energy Orb, you pretty much never want to take that off. You only need to do one every rotation that you do. Budding Seeds it has a nice hot going on now instead of just the burst heal. I like to use this to place my Olo because it's range. That's nice. Aggressive Horn should never really come off of your bar because of the major force. Okay, so just to go over other skills you can use. You can use this to for the major expedition. That's like if you're kiting VCR or VAS. It's a good time to use that. This is where you can flex out some of your skills. You can put on Enchanted Growth. I really use it for the minor intellect and endurance. I don't use it so much for the heal. And you can put it on instead of your regen or your ward ally or whatever it is you want to take off. I don't use any of these guys, mostly because I don't find that they really help the heals at all. I mean, you could use this to heal Ice Tombs. It's just kind of overkill. Don't really need it. In VSS, you can just pop down an Illustrious and a Ward Ally and a Combat Prayer, and they're back to full health. In here, you can also flex out Expansive Frost Cloak. That's a nice extra buff if you're trying to give people Resolve and Ward. Just make sure you keep an eye on your passives. So you'll see for the green balance, when you use this, you get major mending. So you'll want to make sure you keep that, excuse me, those up. And you regen mag and stam. And you increase your healing done. And this is the minor toughness. You can proc it with any heal, so that's why I like to keep out the Blood Altar, because if anyone's damaging the target, they're pretty much always going to have toughness on. So that's what's nice about that. And keeping this net, you can generate faster ultimate, so I like to keep it on. You can increase your mag and stam recovery, so that's good too. Destruction Staff, you'll want to keep your utility skills available. Crushing Shock. Resto Staff, don't really use this, maybe front kiting Bass, but just have it. I don't find Force Siphon useful at all because it does the same thing that Blood Altar does, except for just not for everybody. Make sure you have your passives. I do all light armor on her, so you can see the bonuses on these. Reduces the cost of sprint, increases the mag cost, increases my spell resistance, and then you have your spell crit and spell pen. Don't happen to use the 511 on this one, but you definitely can. Undaunted, like I said, you want to keep overflowing on. You can get Spider Silk as a nice extra synergy, just don't happen to have that yet. Bone Surge is excellent for the major vitality that it gives. I don't happen to have Barrier on her, just haven't really needed it for anything. You can use the trees for VCR Execute. I would recommend getting it, just haven't gotten it yet on her. Efficient Purge, definitely want this one so you can use it more when you do need Purge. She is a high elf, so get these effects. That's nice. You always want to make sure you keep your medicinal use up so you can keep your pots going at all times. And like I said, for the potions that I use, these just happen to be movability. You can either add movability or health or something as your third benefit, or just leave it blank. So this is for the major prophecy, the spell crit, and then the major intellect with the magic recovery. So you can see what my stats are on my back bar, front bar, and then I'm going to take one of these potions, and you can see my magic recovery goes up, my spell crit goes up. It does not raise the spell damage, but it's not necessary because it's already over 2k. And if I have this on, my spell damage is at 25. So that's pretty nice. Okay, I think that is about it except for the champion points. The green and the red really vary on your trial. Just standardly I have more into sprinter. You can do whatever you want with that. I do have 100 each in Elfborn and Blessed. You don't have to do that. You can do like 72 and 75. And stick your extra where you'd like. That's more based on your playstyle and everything like that. So you can see I have the toughness on. So that's a lot of health. Let's say I were to put on Witch Mothers and put on that. Get my pot active again. You can see how ridiculous this gets. So the mag recovery is like up to almost 2,500. It's a little excessive, but my max health is more in a normal range. Lower max mag. Spell damage is pretty high. Spell crit is nice. So there are your options, and that's it for the basic Warden Healer endgame trials build. There are of course specialty builds. Let me know if you have any.